pressure is low, gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the face. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, we're stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the face. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots, we're making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Can we get this show on the road, guys? This is Emergency Management Associates, and we are on the air. Let's get this show on the road, guys. My name's Ron Tyler. We're happy to be here with you. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We're here when you need us. We're here making the call. We're here when you start to fall. We're here to pick you up. God bless you guys for being here. Guys, I know it's the day after Christmas, but I hope you've all had a very Merry Christmas. I want to thank all those people, our EMA family that sent us Christmas presents during this Christmas season. Trish and Rich Killian sent us presents from Mesquite, Nevada, homemade presents. I'm going to show you those another time. We also got a present from Demon Catman and his dear lady there in east of England. They sent us some more objects for our rock collection. We're also going to show you those on a separate program. We're running late, a little bit late tonight. We're here almost an hour after we should have been on the air. We had some problems with the computer. We're here on the air for you tonight. Guys, this is an important program. For those of you who know that we're on the air, those of you that know what's been going on around our world, around this country, in the United States, be advised, there's a lot happening. There's a ton of things happening. We're going to talk about some of that tonight. I'm going to bring up the USGS map first, okay? The USGS map is telling us a lot of stuff, but they're not telling us everything. Not telling us anything, in fact, when it comes right down to it. Here on the map, you're seeing the southeast coast of the Kamchatka Peninsula. They're not showing earthquakes there. There are 3 earthquakes there. All 3 of those earthquakes are moderate 4.0 to 4.8 earthquakes. Those are a result of major earthquakes that happened here almost 3 months ago. 8.8 earthquake that they said happened here was actually a 9.4 earthquake. That was a major earthquake, huge earthquake. Largest earthquake we've ever seen here at the Kamchatka Peninsula. But guys, as a result of that 9.4 earthquake, we're going to continue having earthquakes here for a very long time. Aftershocks. Aftershocks are going to happen for months and possibly even years. Okay? We've seen this happen in other places around the world. Let's back this out. I want to bring you this program and give you an idea of exactly what's happened here. Okay? Let's back this out. First off, I want to start up here in Alaska, just off the southern coast of Pires Real, Alaska. This is a 4.1 earthquake. What makes it special? Guys, 2.5 years ago, we saw a 7.8 and an 8.7 earthquake happen right in this location. Exactly in this location. This is a aftershock. This is a 4.1 aftershock from that 7.8 and 8.7 earthquake that happened here 2.5 years ago. That's important. Further over here in Adak, Alaska, this region right here, this is another 4.0 earthquake here near Adak, Alaska, 50 miles east of Adak, Alaska. Going up here into Alaska, you see a lot of earthquakes over here around the peninsula, right in here. Guys, what's here? Here in the Cook Inlet here. This is the Cook Inlet, the body of water running from the North Pacific Ocean all the way up in here into Anchorage, Alaska here. This Cook Inlet, we'll continue to see earthquakes here. This earthquake is a 2.1 minor earthquake. What also is here, right here? We have a volcano. Old Iliamna volcano is right here. We're having earthquakes. Why? Because all of the volcanoes around the world are coming to a point where they're recharging. They're recharging volcanoes. Guys, we're having earthquakes here for a reason. Okay? This earthquake, for example, is a 0.1 microquake. 0.1 microquake. This earthquake is a 0.7. This earthquake is a 1.6 tremor. Okay, all around this volcano, even out here to the east, we're seeing a 1.2 tremor here. Okay, over here to the north, to the southwest here, this is a minus 0.6 microquake. Minus numbers indicate below sea level, or above sea level. Above sea level. Guess what? This is not above sea level at all. This is 3 miles deep. Again, the USPS is lying through their teeth about this earthquake. This is above or below sea level here, 3 miles deep. This earthquake right at the rim of Old Iliamna volcano is a 1.2 tremor. You see earthquakes all around here. That's because this is a volcano. The volcano is recharging here. Okay? This has been on and off. These kinds of earthquakes have been on and off for quite some time. But again, Old Iliamna volcano is recharging. And what you see here are earthquakes. Alaska. Alaska has a lot of earthquakes. They have also a lot of volcanoes. 62 volcanoes around Alaska here. 62 volcanoes here. Right here. Right at another volcano here. Okay? This is, they say, is a minus 0.2 microquake. This happens to be 2 or 0.2 miles deep. About a quarter of a mile deep. Okay. This is also below sea level here. Okay. This is a minus 0.2 also. This happens to be 7.8 miles deep. It's not above sea, not below sea level at all. Okay. This is a 1.8 tremor. This happens to be 96 miles deep inside the volcano here. To the north of the volcano here, this is a 2.2 earthquake. 2.8, 2.2 minor earthquake. This is 47 miles deep. This is a 1.8 tremor here. 85 miles deep. Up here to the north, right here, this is Mount Redoubt, another volcano. Up here to the north, right here, you see a 1.8 tremor here. This is 39 miles west-northwest of Nikilski, Alaska. I believe this is affiliated with Mount Redoubt. This also 2.2 earthquake here, 39 miles west of Tynuk, Alaska. Now up here to the north, you see another earthquake that just happened, immediately just happened. This is a 1.7 tremor. This happens to be 44 miles deep. 44 miles deep. These are not deep earthquakes, but they are, I want to say, shallow quakes, relatively shallow quakes. Okay. Now let's back out here. I want to show you other earthquakes here. Around Alaska, around Anchorage, Alaska, you don't see any earthquakes here near Anchorage. But to the northwest of Anchorage, we have another 1.2 tremor. 1.2 tremor is 22 miles deep here. Okay. To the north of that, this is the 1.7 tremor. Still a fairly shallow quake at 72 miles deep. I'm going to back this out. We have earthquakes up here in the south central Alaska here. This is a 1.0 tremor here. This is a 2.6 tremor here near Tanana, Alaska. Guess what? Tanana, Alaska here, another volcano. Tanana volcano. Up here to the north, okay? This is just south of Katavik, Alaska. Katavik, Alaska is up on the north shore of Alaska where the oil and gas is being pumped. This is actually 48 miles north of Arctic Village, Alaska. This is a 2.5 earthquake. 2.5 earthquake here. Alaska's moving. Alaska's moving a big way. I want to go down here in the Gulf of Alaska here. This is also important. What's happening here? This earthquake happened earlier this morning. This is a 3.3 small earthquake here in the Gulf of Alaska. Look where it's at. Look where these earthquakes are at. Not just that earthquake south of Perryville. This earthquake is also on the Aleutian Island Fault Zone. On the Aleutian Island Fault Zone. What does that mean? This seismic energy came from Kamchatka Peninsula here. We've been having a lot of earthquakes here along the Russian fault zone here. Okay? Between the Pacific Ocean fault, the Pacific fault, and the Obtuse fault here. A lot of earthquakes have hit here. That seismic energy is working its way over here to Alaska. That's why we're seeing these earthquakes here. That's why we're seeing all these earthquakes here. All that seismic energy from this part of the world is coming over here through the Aleutian Island Fault, working its way into Alaska. Now, we've seen some of that energy also work its way over here to southeast Alaska here. We had a major earthquake here, didn't we? We had a 7.2 earthquake. Seismic energy still here, alive and well. This is a 4.3 moderate earthquake here. 4.3 earthquake over here in southeast Alaska, near Yakutak, Alaska. Okay, this has to be 70 miles north of Yakutak. Okay, again, this is another aftershock. All of these earthquakes here are aftershocks from that 7.2 earthquake that hit here just about, I think it was 2.5 weeks ago. They're still happening. Earthquake energy is still here. This energy around the Aleutian Island Fault Zone, it's going to work its way through the Gulf of Alaska here. We're going to see more earthquake energy working its way over here to British Columbia, Canada, all the way down here to Haida Gwaii, where we have the Haida Gwaii Fault right here. The Haida Gwaii Fault Zone is as deadly as the Cascadia Fault is. The Haida Gwaii Fault Zone is as deadly as the Cascadia megathrust earthquake. The people here in Haida Gwaii are expecting a Haida Gwaii megathrust earthquake. Before, they thought this fault zone was just like the San Andreas Fault. It's not. It's not a strike slip fault. It's a megathrust earthquake fault, just like the Cascadia is. But the Cascadia is also connected to what? The Haida Gwaii. The Cascadia earthquake could trigger the Haida Gwaii. The Haida Gwaii fault could also trigger the Cascadia. Okay? Then we come down here to southwestern British Columbia, Canada. Vancouver, Canada area here. Right here. Okay? We are expecting a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake to happen here in this region, off the coast of Seattle-Tacoma area. Off the coast, meaning between the Cascadia subduction zone here and the Juan de Fuca Fault. The zigzag fault here to the west of the Cascadia is a Juan de Fuca Fault. Juandefuca fault. We are expecting a major Cascadia earthquake fault to happen, the earthquake to happen here between these fault zones. Okay, we have seen earthquakes in this region. They're going to continue. They will continue. Now, it's quite sad that USGS is not showing all the earthquakes here. I'm going to show you earthquakes here in Washington and Oregon, but they're only showing one here in Washington and then one just north of Oregon down here to the south. Over here, near the coastline. Okay. This is the Hump Tulips, Washington earthquake. The Hump Tulips, Washington earthquake. This is a 1.3 tremor here. 1.3 tremor here. Now down here further south here, right here. This is just north of the Oregon border. This is Woodland, Washington. Woodland, Washington. We see a 1.2 tremor here. Interesting. Very interesting. Why are they not showing earthquakes here at Mount St. Helens? Why? All kinds of interesting things are happening here at Mount St. Helens, and they're not showing anything. Also, on the same token, Today, they're not showing anything here at Mount Rainier either. There are earthquakes here at Mount Rainier. They just decided not to show anything here today. That's what happens here with the USGS people. They don't want to take responsibility for anything. They don't want anybody to believe anything's going on. That's so false information. So bad. So very bad. Now, I'm going to back this out here. Okay? Want to go across the ocean here. Over here near Japan. These two earthquakes here in Japan are in the Izu Island area. Okay? This is a 4.3 moderate earthquake here. Again, USBS is calling these moderate earthquakes light earthquakes. If that's the case, why do we have 3.0, 3.9 earthquakes? Excuse me, that they're calling small earthquakes? Very interesting situation. If that's a small earthquake, 3.0, 3.9, what is this? It's definitely not a light earthquake. These are moderate earthquakes. Moderate earthquakes cause moderate damage. This is out in the water. The ocean water here absorbs the shock waves of this quake. This is not near any one island. Okay? No damage here. Nobody felt it. Further south here, this is a larger 4.8 moderate earthquake here. Larger 4.8 moderate earthquake here. Again, these are out in the middle of the ocean in the Izu Island area. Okay? Nobody felt these earthquakes at all. These are also quite shallow earthquakes. These are still 105 miles deep. 105 miles deep, relatively shallow earthquakes. Let's go further south here. Okay? They're showing one earthquake here in Indonesia. There are 34 earthquakes here in Indonesia today. 34. They show us one quake. This is a joke. This is a 4.4 moderate earthquake here. A 4.4 moderate earthquake here off of Java, Indonesia. 28 miles south of Dupage, Indonesia. The ocean waters absorb the shock waves of this quake as well. But there are all kinds of earthquakes around it. To the west over here, and Sumatra, Indonesia right here. This island here is called Island of Sumatra. There are earthquakes here also along the western shoreline, southwestern shoreline here. Earthquakes all over Indonesia here. Eastern Java here. Timor-Leste, Indonesia here. North Central Indonesia up here. Sulawesi, Indonesia up here. Why are they not showing these earthquakes? These are 3.4 to 4.4 moderate earthquakes. 3.4 small to 4.4 moderate earthquakes all over Indonesia here. They're not showing any of them. That's pretty sad. We go over here to Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea here. Right here. This near Badong, Papua New Guinea. 74 miles west-northwest of Badong, Papua New Guinea. 4.4 earthquake here. Again, I need to say, most people don't know anything about Papua New Guinea. These people are very poor here. Very, very poor. They don't live in big cities. They have small villages here. They might be making $500 a year. They grow vegetables and anything else that they can pull out of the rivers here. That's how they survive. They also trade and barter to get what they need. That is a 4.4 moderate earthquake here. Also 24 miles deep up here in the north. Okay, on the northern shores of Papua New Guinea. This near Wemak, Papua New Guinea. Again, this is a 4.4 earthquake here, offshore. Offshore this time. This is 17 miles north of Wewak, Papua New Guinea. I don't believe anybody even felt this earthquake. I'm going to go over here in the Fiji area here. Going to go over here in the Fiji area. Over here to the north here. This is a 5.6 earthquake here. This is a very large 5.6 earthquake. 6.2 miles deep. Shell earthquake. Shell earthquake. Okay? It's nowhere near an island here at all. This is 85 miles east of Olo, Wallis, Futuna. Okay? That's a bunch of islands here in the South Pacific. Now, going south. This is a little bit different situation here. Okay? This is a 4.8 earthquake. This is a 4.8 earthquake. The problem with this is also 583 miles deep. 583 miles deep, guys. That's a problem here. Okay? Let's take this down for a little minute. Let's bring up our depth of magnitude conversion chart here. Okay? I'm going to take down a webcam so we can take a look at this. Okay? 583 kilometers deep. That's a deep quake. We're going to add a 1.16 here. Look over at 580 here, over on the bottom left-hand side in the third column here. We're going to add a 1.6 magnitude to that quake. Let's go back to the USGS map momentarily here. Okay. This earthquake. Okay. 4.6. We're going to add a 1.16 to that, which means this earthquake is going to propagate a much larger earthquake, much larger shallow earthquake. It's going to propagate a 5.7 large earthquake. A 5.7 large earthquake within the next 3 to 10 days. The next 3 to 10 days, probably in this same area, the same region, we're going to see another 5.7 earthquake, larger shallow earthquake. Okay? There's one other earthquake here we want to take a look at here. This earthquake to the south. This is a 4.8 earthquake. This is actually 358 miles deep. 358 miles deep. Let's take a look at this, okay? Let's turn this into kilometers again. I want to show you this earthquake. Okay? Again, this is a 4.8 earthquake. 4.8 earthquake. What's going to happen with this earthquake? This is 568 kilometers deep. 568 kilometers deep. Let's go back here to the depth of magnitude conversion chart here. 568, we come down here to 570. In this case, we're going to add a 1.14 magnitude to this quake. 1.14. Let's go back to the USGS map here. Okay. This is the 4.8. We're going to add a 1.4 to this. That means this 4.8 earthquake is going to propagate or birth a larger 5.9 earthquake. 5.9, 6.0 earthquake within the next 3 to 10 days. That's going to be a very large earthquake. Very large earthquake. Now, because it's so close to the 6.0 rating, we can very well see a 6.1 very strong earthquake. Not just a 5.9, but a 6.1 earthquake. Because of this earthquake today, because it's deep. Deep earthquakes propagate or birth larger shallow earthquakes here. That's why this is important. That's why all this is important information. In the next 3 to 10 days, we're going to see a 5.8 and a 5.9, 6.1 earthquake. 5.8 is 6.1 earthquake here. Okay. Yes, these earthquakes could stay in the Fiji-Tonga region. They can also go over here to the Legacy Islands right here, where we have another large 5.0 earthquake here. 5.0 large earthquake here. This also 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles deep, shallow earthquake. Both those large earthquakes or very strong earthquakes could go over here to the Legacy Islands. They could also go up here into Vanuatu. They very likely might go into Vanuatu. They could go over here in the Solomon Islands here. It's possible. It's possible. It could also end up here in Papua New Guinea. Okay, that could happen. Now, during the past 6.5 years I've been doing this, at least two times we've seen seismic energy from the South Pacific Islands come all the way over here to Chile and Argentina area. We've seen it happen. It is possible. It is possible. Now, south of Argentina and Chile here in the South Sandwich Islands here, on the Antarctic Ridge. Actually, this is not in the South Sandwich Islands, I'm sorry. South Sandwich Islands are east of here. This is Drake Passage, south of South America here. Drake Passage, we have another 5.1 large earthquake here. We're here in South America. South America, guys, what are they showing us here? They are showing us 5 earthquakes here. 5 earthquakes. Central Chile, Argentina area here, the Chile-Argentine border, we have a 4.4 moderate earthquake here. 116 kilometers deep, shallow earthquake. Up here in the north, northern Chile, Argentina area here. Calama, Chile, 4.5 earthquake here. Right next to it, this is a 4.2 earthquake here. Up here north of it, all 3 of these earthquakes are in northern Chile. This earthquake is a 4.3 earthquake here. This is near the Chile-Bolivia border. This is near the Chile-Bolivian border. 4.3 earthquake here. Another earthquake here in the north, Peru. Peru, in the farmlands of Peru here. This is a 4.8 earthquake, 42 kilometers west of Campo Verde, Peru. West of Campo Verde, Peru. One more earthquake here to the north here. They've taken it down. They've taken it down. Right here, just south of Bogota. There was another 4.8 earthquake here today. They've taken that down. Sad. But what they're not saying here is there are a lot more earthquakes than that. There are a lot more earthquakes than that. I'm going to bring up our webcam again. I want to show you something. And this is something I think we need to emphasize. There are a lot more earthquakes here in South America than they're talking about. There always are. Always, without fail, there are a lot more earthquakes here than they show us. They're never honest with us. Not ever. Not ever. Look at the earthquakes here in South America. We've got a boatload of earthquakes there in central Chile area, in Argentina there. Boatload of earthquakes. Okay? Up here in northern Chile, look at all the earthquakes here. 14 earthquakes here in northern Chile, as well as all these earthquakes in central Chile. Okay? Central Chile, 3.1, 2.8, 3.0, 2.5, 4.4. 4.4 moderate earthquake here. To the north there, here's a 2.7. Over the border of Chile and Argentina, Rioja province, La Rioja province, this is a 2.5 moderate earthquake here. Look at all the earthquakes in northern Chile up here. Most of these are 3.0 to 4.0 earthquakes here in northern Chile. Okay? But not all. That's not all, folks. There's more. There's a lot more. Southern Peru. Southern Peru, just south of Arequipa, Peru. This is a 3.6 earthquake here. They're not showing that earthquake either, are they? Not at all. They are showing this 4.8 here. Congratulations, USPS. At least you're showing this. But like I said, up here in Colombia, Santander, Colombia, we have a 2.5 earthquake here. Just southeast of there, we have a 2.6. Interesting. How about Venezuela? 3 earthquakes here in Venezuela. 3 earthquakes here in Venezuela. Here's a 2.7, minor earthquake. That's the one near Bogota I told you about. This is another 2.7 near Lara, Venezuela. 2.7 minor earthquake there. Southeast of there, also on the same fault zone. This is a 2.3 earthquake here. Interesting. Okay. They never have been honest with anybody when it comes to earthquakes here in South America. Never have, never will be. Okay. Going back down here to the Drake Passage. 5.1 earthquake here. This energy here is on the South Antarctic Ridge, the Southern Antarctic Ridge here. This seismic energy will continue along the South Antarctic Ridge here. It's going to work its way up here into the mid-Atlantic. It's going to work its way up here in the mid-Atlantic. Then it's going to go through the southern Atlantic up into the North Atlantic as well. We don't know the exact time period that that's going to happen, but I would say probably within the week. Within the week, this energy is going to climb here in the South Mid-Atlantic. Okay? It's going to happen. It will happen. Now, I want to go over here into, just really quick, into Puerto Rico. I want to go into Southern California. I want to spend some time talking about the flooding and preparedness that's happening in Southern California. They've had quite a few earthquakes. I'm not sorry. Yes, they had quite a few earthquakes in Southern California, but they've had major rainfall and tons of flooding. I want to talk about that. Down here in southwestern Puerto Rico, this is a 2.4 earthquake here. This 6 kilometers south-southwest of Indios, Puerto Rico. This is an aftershock of 2 large earthquakes that hit here in 2019. December 26th, just 6 years ago. December 26, 2019, we had an 8.0 earthquake hit here. 2 days later, we had another 8.4 earthquake hit here. Both major earthquakes, both very dangerous earthquakes. The earthquakes were large enough that they shut off the power grid here in Puerto Rico. Did major damage to businesses and buildings and homes throughout Puerto Rico, especially down here to the south. Just 6 years ago, 8.0 and 8.4 earthquake hit here December 26th and December 28th, respectively. This is just another aftershock from that earthquake. Just another aftershock. Now, there are some other earthquakes I want to show you. Okay? Earthquake right here. I do not believe that this earthquake right here has anything to do with the earthquakes in southwestern Puerto Rico. This is something different. This is a 2.6 earthquake here, west of KI, Puerto Rico. KI, Puerto Rico. We go up here in northern Puerto Rico. Neither one of these earthquakes has anything to do with the earthquakes in southwestern Puerto Rico. This is over on the northern, off the northern shore of Puerto Rico. This is 3.0 earthquake here, northeast of Brenes, Puerto Rico. Brenes, Puerto Rico. This is a 3.3 earthquake here. This is also north of Tierras Nuevas, Puente, Puerto Rico. Another 3.3 earthquake here. Okay? Earthquakes still happen here. Every day. Every day. Now, I'm going to transition here to Southern California. A lot of earthquakes continue happening here. Usually we talk about these on usually Wednesday into Thursday during the weekday. We took yesterday off, being Thursday. Down here along our border, down here along the southern border here, this near Puebla, Baja California. Guys, guess what? If you didn't already know, back in 2010, we had a 7.1 earthquake in the same area here. A 7.1 earthquake hit here. You know what they call, oh gosh, what do they call it? I'm sorry, my mind just went blank on me. In any case, 7.1 earthquake here. Guys, seismic energy building up here, but USGS still is not showing all the earthquakes. It's building up here again. What also do we know about this earthquake? This earthquake is smack dab on the San Andreas Fault. Okay, just remember where this earthquake is. Guadalupe, Victoria, Mexico. Guadalupe, Victoria, Mexico. 7.1 earthquake back in 2010. Again, this is wrapping up here. This is another 2.3 earthquake here. They're not showing any of the earthquakes hitting here. They show one. They show one. Over 500 earthquakes happen here in Imperial Valley here in Southern California. From the Salton Sea here to the north here that you see, down south here to the border. 500 earthquakes a day. A day. And they show one earthquake down here in Mexico. Guadalupe, Victoria, Mexico. Again, we are expecting a 7.1 to 8.0 earthquake to happen here in the same region. In the same region. Okay? But again, they're not showing much of anything. Hardly anything at all. San Diego County. Southeast of Ramona. This is what they call San Diego County Estates. San Diego Country Estates, excuse me. This is a 1.7 tremor. This happens to be 11 miles deep. A shell earthquake here in northern San Diego County. San Diego Country Estates here. Other earthquakes here as well. Over here, this is on the eastern side of the Chalk Mountains here. Eastern side of the Chalk Mountains. This is a 1.1 tremor here at Ocotillo Wells. Ocotillo Wells. Just north of that, this is a 1.5 tremor here. All these earthquakes you see right here to the north, those are in the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park, northeast San Diego County. We're seeing swarms of earthquakes developing here. When we see swarms of earthquakes like we're seeing here, usually we're going to see a much larger earthquake here. It's possible. It's possible. As you can see here, we have a red earthquake. That just means it just happened. This is a 0.6 microquake, 14 miles deep. Okay? Los Angeles. They're not showing any earthquakes in the greater Los Angeles area. None. This earthquake right here is in San Jacinto. The San Jacinto Fault. This is a 0.7 microquake. This is a 0.8 microquake, also on the San Jacinto Fault. Just to the north. This is Banning, California. Right between the San Jacinto and the San Andreas. 1.2 tremor. What about the other 400 earthquakes here in the LA area, LA region? They're not showing them, but they are showing an earthquake offshore. This is a 2.1 earthquake. 2.1 earthquake, 17 kilometers south of San Pedro. San Pedro, California, where my wife was born, right there. Right there, San Pedro, California. 2.0 earthquake out here in the Pacific Ocean just off the coast. Yeah. It happens. It happens. Now, yes, we do have some tremors here. Lots of tremors. but they're not talking about all of it. They never do. Now, I want to go over here and talk about what's been happening with the flooding. Okay? I'm going to start with Los Angeles first. Why see what's going on? This is very important. Yes, we continue to have flooding in Washington and also in Oregon. Now that huge atmospheric river coming off the Pacific coast, hitting Southern California. Watch this.
Disturbance that's currently working its way through LA County is that's just the beginning, but that's the disturbance that's expected to bring us the heaviest amount of rainfall. We're looking at the majority of the rainfall to come during the early morning hours, and you can see it right now in the Max Doppler. That's the system that has prompted the extension of the flash flood warnings highlighted in the red here. Severe heavy downpours that began just after the 4 o'clock hour in areas from Malibu to West Hollywood, and now slowly working its way in a very slow moving storm system. This prompted a flash flood warning in Ventura around 2 o'clock this morning. So you can imagine that we're going to continue to see some really heavy downpours associated with this for another hour or so. Then on the heels of that, there's another impulse. And you can see as we look in the San Luis Obispo area, that second impulse is going to help bring an additional round of rain. And that's just going to keep things nice and wet. And unfortunately, the rain continuing for the majority of the day. The heaviest rainfall from this first impulse, the second impulse, some lighter rain, but enough rain that's going to be continually something that you're going to have to deal with and will continue to increase the danger of flash flood warnings throughout the day. Wind, something that you'll certainly notice in our passes and our canyons. We're seeing wind gusts upwards of 20, even 30 miles per hour. This wind advisory in the areas outside, it looks like the mountains of LA and Ventura County, looking to be in effect until about noon. As you can see, if you may be planning to drive along the 5, the Grapevine through Fraser Park, be prepared for really gusty winds. Maybe the 101 might be a better alternative if you're planning on heading in that direction. And then we've got high surf concerns. Of course, you've got the day off. You might want to head down to the coast. Of course, be very careful. Dangerous rip currents possible with elevated surf through Saturday morning up and down the Southern California coast. And you can see from Santa Barbara all the way to Ventura, LA County, and the San Diego County line until Saturday morning. I've been talking about these flash flood warnings, and they've been a significant issue throughout the week, and they're continuing to be a problem. This newest flash flood warning continues until 6 o'clock in Ventura County. Of course, please stay on alert. There's dangerous conditions on the roadways, and this elevated risk of those heavy downpours from this current cell, the danger associated with this is prompting this flash flood warning to remain for another 50 minutes or so. Then we've got the flood watch for the entire area of Southern California highlighted here in green. There are some areas like Fullerton, Newport Beach that aren't impacted, but the vast majority of us are going to feel the impact of that. There's this other flash flood warning that remains in effect for another 50 minutes, and this one was particularly intense. Heavy rainfall between 1 and 1.5 inches falling just within the last hour or so from Malibu to West Hollywood, and if you were trying to sleep, this was certainly going to keep you up. It was really, really heavy rainfall, and that's what we're going to see as it continues to work its way eastward. Here, I'll put the future forecast in motion. This takes us to about noon. You can see Lake Elsinore, Riverside, San Clemente. That's the biggest thing associated with at least this disturbance, is it's very slow moving, and it's going to pack quite the punch when it comes to the precipitation. A rain-snow mix is possible associated with this storm, by the way, as we look toward Big Bear, because we're looking at snow levels dropping even below advisory, below resort levels to about the 6,000 foot elevation level. Things, believe it or not, start to clear up in your 7-day forecast. We'll have more on that in a moment. Highs today, no surprise. The rain continues with highs in the 50s and 60s across the Southland, 38 in Big Bear. Your 7-day forecast across the LA area, we've got a high of 62 degrees, heavy rain again. The break comes Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll see chances beginning on Tuesday, and then we're right back at it again with another round of rain, possibly bringing a chance of rain to start out your new year. Your Inland Empire forecast, we're looking at a high today of 61 degrees. Temperatures well below normal, I meant to say. And then we make a move that brings it a little bit above normal again, which is kind of where we liked it, a very weak area of high pressure. Compliments of that early next week. A live look at the Queen Mary this morning with a few raindrops on the lens.
If you live in the north.
Okay, that's in Southern California, guys. Los Angeles. Let's take a look at San Diego. Then I want to talk to you about San Bernardino. He just touched on the flooding in San Bernardino. I'm going to show you some wild things going on in San Bernardino County. This is San Diego.
Carolina zip code and have.
Sorry about that.
Now at 6, new information after a weather-related death here in San Diego with more rain on the way.
Everything was flooded. It was insane.
A look at the mess this storm has left behind across our state. Plus, how to recycle your Christmas tree.
You're watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
We're going to begin this hour with a weather impact alert. More rain is on the way to San Diego. Right now, we are getting a live look. Look at this. Wow. This is a large tree. You see those roots there and how tall that trunk of the tree is. This large tree fell in a Cardiff neighborhood over the Christmas holiday.
Okay, Cardiff is in North San Diego County. Cardiff is just south of Oceanside.
And this is over on Oxford Avenue. As you can see, it's still there, and it's not clear when crews plan to remove it. But of course, we'll keep you updated throughout the morning with that situation.
Wow.
Thank you so much for joining us at 6 a.m. on this day after Christmas. I'm Vanessa Paz.
And I'm Netta Irampour, and hopefully you had a chance to get outside during the day yesterday. It was so gorgeous. Things are changing, but for now, look at this beautiful view. Here we are looking from Mount Soledad towards the south, and you see the hills of TJ up in the top of your screen right there, downtown San Diego in the center. Pretty clear conditions, just a few high clouds. So it's overall looking like a gorgeous start to the day. Sunrise at 6:49. And here's what we can expect. We are watching for some more rain coming towards San Diego. A lot of this is just hunkered over LA, San Bernardino counties. I mean, you feel for them when we see the multiple inches of rain that they got. It's still not over. But for us in San Diego, by around noon or so, that's when a lot of that moisture is coming our way. We'll time it out for you in just a few minutes. For now, one person has already died as a result of the weather this week.
Yeah, a large tree branch fell on top of a man in City Heights. CBS 8's Chris Grove live in downtown.
City Heights is where I used to live in San Diego when I was a cop.
With what the family of the victim is saying this morning. Hey, Chris.
Yeah, tragedy. Again, this family still gripping with what happened in a moment's notice. Again, something that nobody was expecting. They've identified him as Roberto Luis, and according to San Diego Fire Rescue, this is something that happened Wednesday morning around the time that we were experiencing a lot of wind and rain there. This large tree branch suddenly split off and fell on the man. Now, this happened around on Marlboro Avenue and Whiteman Street. Again, this is happening around 11 a.m. Luis has been described by family members as a grandfather, as someone who was, again, a beloved figure within the family. The family, though, believes this tragedy could have been prevented and is actually sharing the story, hoping to have accountability and change. They say that they have notified the city about what they feel is this troubled tree, that something like this could happen. We did speak with them, with one family member in particular who did not want to show their face, but said this to us off camera. Take a listen.
Complaining to the city about this tree. We've been complaining about the city. It's been, they've been living here more than 5 years, and we've been complaining about the tree. Nothing was ever done, so I feel like San Diego failed. They failed.
Now, we reached out to the city of San Diego, and in a statement, they said, quote, "Our thoughts are with the family, friends, and neighbors and first responders impacted by this sudden loss of life. City crews have performed maintenance on this specific tree in question in January of 2024 as a proactive measure to trim branches, and the tree presented no concerns or defects at that time. The city doesn't have a record of any maintenance requests for this specific tree. Obviously, a very emotional tragedy that unfurled there on Wednesday. But with more rain, more weather here in the forecast here, despite how severe it may be, just a good reminder for everyone to be careful if you step outside, if you don't need to go outside, especially if we're experiencing any wind and or rain, to not do that, but also be mindful of downed power lines, but also tree branches and trees in your area as well, too. Vanessa, Netta.
Really good tips there. Thank you so much, Chris. Well, the weather has left a mess all across California. The storm has set records in some areas and is keeping many under evacuation orders.
Let's start in Sacramento. Excuse me. That's where a sheriff deputy was killed in a weather-related crash. Reed Binion now with the latest.
Everything was flooded. It was insane.
Californians reeling from another day of brutal, deadly weather. Torrential rain triggering floodwaters that made roads treacherous and in many cases impassable. Thunderstorms and punishing winds causing damage across the state. In other areas, feet of snow also impacting travel. In Wrightwood, northeast of Los Angeles, authorities issued an evacuation warning Thursday due to mud and debris flows.
We're approaching 10 inches for the Wrightwood area. Widespread flooding throughout the community.
Emergency crews pulling people from flooded cars and homes.
A number of rescues were performed throughout the day. Water rescues from vehicles traveling onto flooded roadways. We had people that were trapped in their houses.
The massive scope of the flooding still visible hours after the water receded. Cars and homes encased in silt, mud, and sand the floodwaters left behind. Some homes buried nearly up to the windows and rafters. Elsewhere in the state, authorities say a Sacramento sheriff's deputy was killed after crashing on a wet roadway while driving to work.
Fortunately, in this line of work, we deal a lot with the dangers in the line of duty. This is a little more unique because it's one of those freak accidents simply on his way to work.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Okay, all over there, guys. Literally all over there. Let me show you something else. Okay, this is also important. Let me show you this. Some roads remain flooded in the Coachella Valley out in the desert. Look at this. Again, I caution everybody, if you see a roadway completely underwater, don't go in it. It's very possible that the roadways could collapse. It's very possibly the roadways could collapse because the water undermines the roadway. Water goes underneath the roadway like this. It undermines it, washes all that sand and gravel out from underneath the roadway, and then the roadway collapses when you go over it. Then you're stuck. You're stuck. You have nowhere to go. That's where people get caught in the rain in the flooded roadways and die. We saw it happen last week. Guys, don't go there. Stay off the roadways. Stay off the roadways. There's a possibility you wouldn't make it. I'm just telling you. There is a possibility you may not make it. Stay off the roadways. This is not the first time it's happened. Up in Washington, I want to show you this. Snoqualmie Pass, snowplows have been deployed. This is Washington.
Location, New Ireland region, Papua New Guinea. Class, moderate, magnitude, 5.0, depth, 54.7 miles, 9 minutes ago.
Papua New Guinea, 5.0 earthquake. Large earthquake. Guys, things are happening. I'm trying to help you prevent any injuries or death. I'm trying to help save lives here. It's for your safety. It's for everybody's safety, guys. We're trying to help you here. Okay? This is what this channel is all about. We're talking about preparedness. We're talking about saving lives. Okay? Now, I want to spend the next few minutes talking about flooding. Okay? Flash flooding. They've experienced flash flooding in Washington, in Oregon, in California, up and down from the north to the south. San Francisco Bay got flooded. Now, a flash flood is occurring or about to occur. What do you need to do? Seek higher ground. Seek higher ground immediately. Flood watches and warnings are still in effect in Los Angeles and also in some parts of San Diego County. Okay? Flood watches and warnings may also be issued for specific kinds of flooding, i.e. coastal or river flooding. The San Diego River going through central San Diego County, through San Diego City and out into East County. Flood warnings there. Okay? Coastal flood warnings along the coastline as well. From Imperial Beach all the way up into northern Los Angeles. Imperial Beach in the southern part of San Diego County, all the way up in Los Angeles. Coastal flood warnings. Okay? The National Weather Service issues flood forecast center. Other flood forecast centers, they issue flood warnings. These forecasts inform the public during periods of flooding. These forecasts inform the public about the height of the flood crest. The height of the flood crest. What do we see in Washington? All kinds of flooding, and one person died because he drove across the roadway. Okay? He drove across the roadway when it was flooded. Okay? The National Weather Service issues these flood crest warnings, talking about when it's the river or height of the flood along coastline is going to occur. The time that they expect it to occur and expect the overflow to overflow its banks. The date and time of the flow in the river is expected to recede back into its banks. Everybody needs to pay attention, guys. Check your warnings and watches. Now, the U.S. Geological Survey and the National Weather Service work together during flood times to collect and use most up-to-date data and to up-to-date forecasts as new information is acquired. Now, for new information, look at the river forecast centers. Look at the river forecast centers. Go to www.water.weather.gov/AHPS/RFC/RFC.php. Waterweather.gov. waterweather.gov/AHPS/RFC.php. Now, if the danger is significant, local authorities may issue evacuation orders and evacuation notice to specific residents to alert residents that flooding is or will be occurring very soon. It is important to leave the area. Leave the area. Los Angeles, Seattle, some parts of San Francisco, some parts of Oregon, around Portland especially, they issued evacuation orders. Evacuation orders vary state by state and community to community. They may range from voluntary to mandatory evacuations. We saw it mandatory during fire season. We've seen mandatory evacuations because of flooding. When authorities issue a mandatory evacuation notice, leave immediately. Leave immediately. Don't do like a former brother-in-law did of mine. I went to his house and tried to help him evacuate. He said they're not moving. Then he only left because I had already helped pack his vehicle, and a sheriff's deputy came up and said, You need to leave now or you're going to be arrested. I explained to the deputy that I had been there. I'm an emergency manager. I was helping load his vehicle to get him to leave. The deputy said, good. And the guy, my brother-in-law said, quote, what if I don't leave? The sheriff's deputy then said, if you don't leave, you're going to be arrested. A mandatory evacuation is just that. You need to leave and leave immediately. Protecting yourself today means having resources for information, preparing your home or workplace, developing an emergency communication plan. Developing an emergency communication plan. How many times have we talked about that? And knowing what to do when a flood is approaching your home or business. Taking action today can save lives and property. Know your flood risk. Learn whether you live, work, or travel through areas that are prone to flooding. You can do that prior to even a flood happening or fire happening. Know your risk and understand your risk. That way, when something happens, you know you might have problems and you can prepare for those problems. Okay? Also, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, creates flood maps. Flood maps. I'm going to give you a resource link to flood maps. Flood maps are what they call FIRMS, FIRMS, to show you the locations of high risk, moderate to low risk, and undetermined risk areas. To understand your flood risk, this is the address you need to enter. www.floodsmart.gov. www.floodsmart.gov /floodsmart /pages /flooding space flood risks /defining space flood space risk.jsp. Let me repeat that. To assess your flood risk, this is the internet address, floodsmart.gov /floodsmart /pages /flooding space flood FLOOD space risks RISKS /defining space flood FLOOD space risks RISKS.JSP. That is to determine your flood risk, whether you're a home or business. According to the National Flood Insurance Program, that NFIP, the National Flood Insurance Program, more than 25% of all flood claims each year come from homes outside areas of high risk for flooding. To participate in the NFIP, local communities must adopt floodplain management regulations. Your community, your city, your state, your community must adopt floodplain management regulations that meet or exceed its minimum requirements. Know how to stay informed. Remember, receiving timely information about weather conditions or emergency events can make a difference. It can make all the difference in knowing when to take action and when to be safe. Monitor the weather reports. Monitor your weather reports provided by your local news media. Many communities have text or email alerting systems for emergency notifications. To find out what alerts are available in your area, Do an internet search with your town, city, or county name and the word alerts. Quote unquote alerts. Quote ALERTS dot quote. Okay? Check out alerts. Consider also buying what we've determined to be a NOAA weather radio. A NOAA weather radio. I continue to share this information with you because it can save your life. Get yourself a NOAA AM/FM weather radio. You can get one for as little as $10 and probably as much as $25. It's battery operated. It also has a hand crank on the back of it. The hand crank can provide electricity to keep this radio operational. Okay? An all-hazard receiver. Not only can you hear the weather reports, but in an emergency, the government, whether it's local or federal government or state government, can intercept this radio frequency and put out emergency information to you. Your local, federal, or state governments can put out information on the NOAA weather radio. Okay, this is a good thing to have. It can receive alert broadcasts directly from the state, local, or federal government, and also directly from the National Weather Service. Okay, you can purchase those radios at a lot of different retail outlets, including REI, Army Navy stores. You can purchase them from Target, Walmart, and other recreational outlet companies. Get one. Take action now yourself. Protect yourself before a flood happens. And know your weather alert evacuation notices as well. Know them. Know them. Okay? Now, these radios are designed to work with external notification devices with visual and vibrating alerts for people who are deaf or hard of hearing as well. Okay? Think about how you can stay informed yourself. There's a power outage. Usually when these storms happen, we have power outages as well because the rain shorts out the circuits or the winds knock the power lines down. Have extra batteries in your NOAA weather radio. Have extra batteries for your flashlights as well. Okay? Get one of these radios. Get one of these radios soon. Okay? We've already had storms in Washington and Oregon. We've had storms in southwestern Canada. We've had storms all across the United States and Canada. Right now, that same storm that covered all of Washington, Oregon, has moved its way eastbound, both through Canada and the upper tier of the United States. Heavy snow warnings in some mountain areas, the Rocky Mountains especially. Heavy storm warnings over in Mammoth, California, Mammoth Mountain. Blizzard conditions right now. Blizzard conditions, guys. They closed a ski area at Mammoth Mountain. Okay? The safest way to stay safe is to avoid the areas where you're going to have problems. Monitor your alerts. Monitor your television, monitor your telephone, monitor your radios. They're there to help you. The safest way to survive a flood is to evacuate the area if it is advised to leave. Don't chance it. If you're asked to evacuate, do it. Don't ask questions about that. We've told you all to have emergency preparedness kits. With your preparedness kit, have your medical kit as well. Have everything packed and ready to go. That way, when the evacuation notice comes in, you've already got it. You may have already started loading your car to get out of Dodge. Okay? Make sure that you ensure that you are ready to act should the need arise, and you need to plan ahead for that. Plan ahead. Know your community's local flood evacuation area. Identify several evacuation routes. We talked about this before. Before it happens, locate 3 different evacuation roads you're going to use. Locate 3 different separate evacuation roads that you can use. Plot it out on the map. Plot it out on the map. Put your maps in gallon-sized Ziploc bags to keep them safe and dry. Make sure they're in your emergency preparedness kit. That way, when you're ready to go, you know you can get in the kit, pull the map, and have those out to help you get to where you need to go. When you have evacuation routes, where are you going to go to? Have 3 separate locations you're going to go to. Make sure you have 3 separate distinct locations to go to in case one of those or 2 of them are closed. That way you have a place to go. You have 3 separate routes to get there, 3 separate destinations. Okay? If you evacuate by car, keep your car fueled and in good condition. Keep emergency supplies and a change of clothes in your car. If you will need to share transportation, make arrangements to do that. Make arrangements now. If you need to use public transportation, including paratransit, buses, and cabs, contact your local government emergency management agency to ask how an evacuation will work and how you can get current and information during evacuation, and also the location of staging areas and other information as well. Staging areas and also places where you can shelter in place. Okay? If you need to relocate for any extended period of time, identify a place away from home now where you could go if you had to leave. Consider family or friends that live outside your local area. If you expect to go to a shelter after evacuating, download the American Red Cross Shelter Finder app. The American Red Cross Shelter Finder app. This app displays open American Red Cross shelters and also provides the capacity and current population of each shelter. Okay? Visit redcross.org/mobile-apps/shelter-finder-app. redcross.org/mobile-apps/shelter-finder-app. You can also text shelter plus your zip code to 43362. You can text shelter plus your zip code to 43362 for FEMA. 43362, put quotes around for FEMA to find the nearest shelter in your area. If you have pets and plan a shelter in place, plan to go to your shelter with your pets. Call and inquire whether the shelter can accommodate your pets. Most shelters will take pets. Most shelters will take pets. Some hotels will also take pets. Do not leave your pets behind. Do not leave your pets behind. That never is good at all, ever. Practice how you communicate with family members in a dangerous situation. Your first thoughts will be for the safety of your family and your friends. In case you are not together when authorities issue a flood watch or flood warning, practice how you will communicate faster than making a phone call. Keep important numbers handy. written down in your wallet, not just in your phone. It is sometimes easy to reach people outside your local area during an emergency. So choose an out-of-town contact for all family members to call or use social media. Decide where the members of your household will meet after the flood or any other emergency. Okay? Go back through our previous programs. Whenever you see a program on Emergency Management Associates labeled Emergency Situation or Emergency Planning or Emergency Preparation, watch it. Watch it. We might also have it labeled as Emergency Communication. Watch it. Watch it. You want to develop a household communication plan. You want to develop a household emergency communication plan. Okay? We've talked about practicing first aid skills as well. Okay? Practice first aid skills and emergency response actions through training classes. Get trained. In most circumstances, when someone is hurt, a person on the scene provides first assistance before any professional help arrives. Most first response personnel are going to be very busy. They may not be able to get to you at all. It's high time that you and I become our own first responders to help save the lives of our family members and our neighbors. Get trained. Get trained. Learn and practice response skills. Do it now. So you're going to know what to do. Do it now. Each year, more than 3 million people gain skills they need to prepare. Each year, nearly 3 million people gain the skills they need to prepare for and respond to emergencies. Again, the Red Cross. Doesn't matter whether you live here in the United States or not, the Red Cross provides training, including first aid, AED, automated external defibrillator, and cardiopulmonary resuscitation. I was an instructor. Do this. Do this, guys. This will help you and help your family members, and this is to be done immediately. Immediately. Last week when we talked about this last Friday, I also told you to look into joining a CERT team, a community emergency response team, where they provide training for you and your family. Family members can get involved in this. They will also take teenagers and your family members. Remember that. They'll help train your entire family, guys. They'll help train your family. The American Heart Association provides cardiopulmonary resuscitation training. That's who I was certified through to be an instructor. The AHA.org. AHA.org. The American Heart Association. Okay? Download the American Red Cross First Aid app. www.redcross.org/mobile-apps/first-aid.app. The Community Emergency Response Team program expands emergency response networks by providing training and in basic response team skills to community members. I'm a president of the CERT team here in Morganton. CERT basic training educates individuals about disaster preparedness for hazard situations. Hazard situations that may develop here for you. It can happen. Each one of us needs to be prepared at all times. Okay? CERT teams train people how to be better prepared for basic disaster response skills, such as fire safety, light search and rescue, team organization, and disaster medical operations. Visit www.FEMA.gov/community-emergency-response team. Let's go back. www.FEMA.gov/community-emergency-response-teams to find your local program. Okay? We talked about supplies. I'm not going to get into that right now. We've talked about that before. Again, go back to our previous programs on Fridays where it says emergency preparedness or emergency communications or emergency at all. Go back and view those programs. Those programs will help save your lives. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Now, my buddy Don Patoga is a very dear friend of mine. He's been putting up information here in the chat. Go and review the chat. Go and review the chat. Okay? What he's been showing you here is ways you can be prepared to save your lives. Please watch that. Please watch that. Now, guys, I'm not going to keep you any longer. We're over here an hour and a half now. I want to end this, but I also want to give you this information. It's very important to save your lives. Yes, there's been extreme flooding, bad storms. There are winter storms also going on. Here in North Carolina, it's been 75 degrees for the past 3 days. Today, it was 45 degrees all day long. Tomorrow and Sunday, it will be back up in the 60s and 70s, but Monday, it takes a deep turn. Monday, we're going to start being very cold this next week. Colder areas to the north also along the East Coast, all the way up into Canada. Snow, rain and snow mixes. Be prepared. It's going to happen. Now, if anything else happens today or tonight, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available, including tomorrow. Usually on Saturdays, we take the day off. But if anything else happens, we'll be back on there to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Now, I can tell you something else. On Sundays at 12:30, we come on the air with the Sunday School program. Yes, I teach Sunday School as well. Years ago, I was asked to teach Sunday School during COVID. They've asked me to continue. I continue for all of you. Typically, we have anywhere from 30 to 70 people in our Sunday School class. Guys, this next year, starting January 4th, I believe, which is Sunday, we're going to start teaching the Old Testament again. I want to tell you this. I've taught the Old Testament even before. I've actually put in over 200 hours teaching New Testament before. 200 hours. Teach New Testament classes during the year. Please join us for that after January 1st. January 1st is next Thursday. I believe Sunday is the 4th. January 4th, join us for Old Testament teaching. Okay? I am pleased to be able to teach it with you. May God bless us. May God be with each and every one of us. That's my prayer. Again, I want to thank all of those who sent us Christmas presents, who also sent us donations to our program. We definitely appreciate it. God bless you. Now, there is one lady, one sister of our EMA family that wrote some music for Christmas. It's called When Christ comes, peace. When Christ comes, peace. I'm going to look up this music and play it for you on Sunday. With Christ comes peace. I want to thank everybody for Christmas presents. I also want to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas season. God bless you all. God bless you. We appreciate each and every one of you. Each one of you are my brothers and sisters, literally, every sense of the word. May God bless you. May God bless you with peace in your lives, in your homes, and your families. We'll see you on Sunday, if not sooner. God be with you until we meet again. Have a good night, everybody. Much love. Take care. God bless. See you soon. Bye.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright.